I started losing hair like when I was like in middle school. Like it started there. Like like that's literally like my mom actually she kind of noticed it because she always take me to barber shops and she's like, oh, can you tell the barber to stop, pushing your hairline back a little bit? And I was just like, I guess I don't know. Like I'm just letting them cut my hair.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Ball to Bowl podcast. Every week we have a new guest. Today is nothing different. Today I have with me Donnell Whittenburg. Donnell, thank you for joining us, man. I reached out to you on Instagram. I seen you rocking the ball head and doing so many amazing things in style with the look. So I wanted to make sure that we had you as a guest to share your story with the people. Brody, man, tap in with me. Let the people know something about yourself, where you're from, what you do, things of that nature.
Yeah, so yeah, I want to say thanks for having me, Keen. Uh can't wait to, give my, insight, of being a ball man and, in my field of work, I guess, which is I do gymnastics. I've been doing gymnastics since 2002. I was probably about 7 years old. So I've been doing this for a long time, even until now. I'm on the senior national team for USA, so I've competed at various competitions around the world, representing United States. And you know, I think for me personally, when I started realizing I was losing hair, I started losing hair like when I was like in middle school. Like it started there. Like like that's literally like my mom actually she kind of noticed it because she always take me to barber shops and she's like, oh, can you tell the barber to stop, pushing your hairline back a little bit? And I was just like, I guess I don't know. Like I'm just letting them cut my hair. And then like once I got into high school, I started getting like this the widow's peak thing
Whoa,
going
now,
on.
before we get too deep into your story, we gotta start from the top right quick. I got a few questions before we get into your story.
Yeah, no problem.
First, man, before we get into this, I think it's only right that we kind of shout out and you let me know if this is wrong, bro, because you're from the area. I just moved here, but when I
Mm.
say DMV, does that also include Be More, or is that like two separate?
Uh, yeah, no, that includes be more. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. So look, y'all know I just moved to the Washington, D.C. area. Donnell's actually from Baltimore, so be remiss if we don't shout out the DMV right here on the
Yeah,
podcast. So shout out to the DMV.
absolutely.
You grew up there. Tell me what it was like kind of growing up in the DMV, bro.
I mean, as a young black kid, I grew up with a single mom with two other sisters. So I guess I was somewhat my mom's favorite, kind of like the golden child since I was like her only boy. So she tried to keep a good eye on me, whatever I do, but I was a wild child. Like I was kind of destructive in a way and just super hyper. Like I used to just, do like flips and stuff all around school. So she just wanted to figure out how can I put him in a safe environment so he can basically learn how to fall and like learn how to fall correctly. So after that, she just, she's like, oh, let's try gymnastics. And I did a couple classes there. I already knew how to flip. So once I got there, I kind of just was doing my own thing. And one of the club team kids, they came up to me. They were like, are you not on team? I was like, no, I'm just doing classes. They were like, hey, we're gonna go talk to our coach real quick and we'll have a chat. And then after that, the rest was history.
Wow. Wow. So club, is that like middle school age? Or was that like high school age? What kind of age was that?
So I would say so for club gymnastics, it would range from probably you could start honestly at like 6 years old to 5 years old. So it would start like level one and then you would go all the way to 10. You could, I guess the oldest you could be for level 10 is probably 18.
Okay.
So I did so basically that whole period that was my club gymnastics career. And you're also considered a junior athlete. And then once you go a little step further, go into college or go elite, that's when you're trying to go into the senior level. So that's kind of how that works.
Bro, when you think back about those early days in the sport, did you feel like it always came easy for you, or was it challenging? Because like growing up as a kid, just doing flips around in the hood, that's probably a
Yeah.
little different than like obviously, well, probably very different than kind of like competing. So tell me about that transition as you got into that sport.
Uh, yeah, I would say floor always obviously it was pretty natural for me, but obviously you have to work on doing it good. Like you can't just do it just to do it. You have to, make it make it look flawless. And then you know, once you start adding twists and like double bags, then that's when you have to start getting those reps in so you have the mindset and the air awareness. And for me, the other events were the hardest ones because those aren't stuff that you would normally do outside. Those kind of events you don't have access to them to do at like a playground. Maybe parallel bars if you find some, like at like Muscle Beach or something like that, or you could probably find rings there too. But just like all in all, having the equipment there and having the honestly the coach I had to kind of push me to get better on those each events. It just made me better gymnast overall. But it was definitely a learning process.
For sure. Bro, two more questions about this. One, when people, like for instance, when I was coming up as a kid, they always be like, "Oh, what you want to be when you grow up?" Right? And like many of us are like, "Oh, I want to be an athlete, or I want to be a rapper, I want to be an entertainer in some form or fashion." Did you ever, before you got into it, did you ever know what a gymnast was? Did you ever like aspire to be a gymnast until you got into that sport?
And so before I did gymnastics, I was actually playing baseball, but I hated it. It was just super boring for me, and I didn't have that best eyesight to actually see and hit the ball. So I kind of just started doing gym, and I was like, wow, this is fun. I'm getting all my energy out. I'm learning new things every day. And, you get to compete against, your teammates and, other various competitors in your state and across the country. So, having doing that, just super grateful because you while you compete, you compete against your rivals, but like, we're all trying to get through the struggle together, so we know what it takes to get to that certain level. So we all have a amount of respect for each other, and we end up becoming friends for long years.
And is B More or the DMV at all known for like gymnastics or whatever? I know there's like a basketball thing in the DMV. You got a lot of hoopers that come out of this area.
Yeah.
Is it at all known for gymnastics as well?
Honestly, I would say no. I would say probably the most famous gymnast to come out of the DMV is Dominique Dawes. So, and me, I guess, at this point. So
Facts.
I'll, I'll
Facts.
I'll take that. But yeah, I mean, no, not really that much gymnasts come out of the DMV. It's just gymnastics is just like such an expensive sport. So, it's very hard for, you know, um middle class kids to, go out and explore gym because there's, just so much money.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Last question on the sports tip, man. Then we gotta get to why everybody's really here about that. But bro, talk to me about this. Like you're coming up in the sport. I'm not too familiar with the gymnastics in general. But I will say I feel like I don't see, at least they don't, I feel like they don't showcase as many black males in the sport. I see black women all the time. I see white women all the time. Are there a lot of like black males in the sport? If so, like who are some of those that you look up to that you're like, okay, like he's dope, he's killing it. I'm gonna try to model on peeping game what he's working on. I want to make sure I'm like that.
Yeah, I mean, I say we still have a long way to go, but there have been, a lot of great black gymnasts. I actually competed and I used to train with one of them. His name's John Orozco. He's a two-time Olympian. He's one of my best friends. We used to compete against each other when we were little kids, and there's actually a funny a funny scenario. While I was at a competition competing, my mom was like recording me, and then she just literally just panned over to him and just started recording him instead. So she knew he was good. I have another teammate. His name is Marvin Kimball. He's retired now. Great gymnast. Kind of cut his career a little short. He had a ton of potential, but it's a tough sport. Injuries happen and stuff like that. And we actually have new guys on the scene. They've kind of been there for a couple of years now, but now they're starting to get their name out there. One of them is actually from Maryland, so give him a shout out. His name's Coy Young. He actually came from a club gym that I used to compete against when I was a club kid, so I know that area very well. He goes to Stanford University. He's going to be great. He's going to be a great gymnast for years to come. And then we have one more. He just got onto the senior scene, and he's gonna show everybody like some good stuff for the future. His name is Fred Richards. Definitely a name to look out for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. Putting us all on the dopest black gymnasts out there, man. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up.
Absolutely.
You've heard a lot about your background in sports. Hopefully, everybody now kind of well aware of how dope he is in that particular sport and how the kind of major moves he's making. But we know why everybody's here, bro. Everybody's here to hear your story about the hair loss, man. So again, I actually reached out to you. One of my friends, a lot of my friends will just send me people they see like, oh my God, you should have him on the podcast. You should have him on the podcast. One of my friends who's a big fan, we went to the University of Michigan grad school, and I guess they have a pretty good gymnastic team.
Oh yeah. That's where Fred Richards go. So he's competing for that school. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. She's really into gymnastics. So she saw your page. She's like, Kenny, get him on the podcast. So I'm glad we made it. So we got him here today, man, bro. You kind of started about it early, but take us back a little bit. Take us back. You mentioned middle school. And your mom would send you to the barbershop and like, do not have her push your hairline back anymore. You're like, oh my. Take me back there, bro. Kind of and walk me through again. You started getting into high school as well. Walk me through that. But also, bro, mention to me, if you can think back, what did your hair mean to you at that point? Did you care about what kind of hair you rocked? Because again, when I came up, I mean, you couldn't come to school with a bad hairline or you're gonna get joked on. Like,
yeah.
So it meant so much. You had to be tight. So talk to me about like your experience growing up, what kind of hair you had, what it meant to you, etc., bro.
For me, I had like a, just short low cut, regular low cut. When I was, like a little kid, I didn't really care that much. But as I got older, obviously, you want to fit in. You want to be the cool kid. And, having that happen, obviously, it brings your confidence down a bit, but I was the only person that could do gymnastics and like do flips. So that kind of helped me out a little bit, I guess let's start. Where were we at again? I forgot.
Was it like you started losing it? Was it middle school or high school?
Yeah. Middle school, like literally middle school. That's
wow.
So because a couple of my neighborhood friends, they used to come up to me and be like, man, like I was like, your hairline's kind of I don't know what's going on. I was like, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I guess it's stress. I don't know.
Middle school stress, bro.
Yeah, middle school stress, or it's just like, that I'm training so much, the hormones just like making it go away. But yeah, once I got to high school, I started, getting some waves with that. So I was like, all right, I can kind of keep this for a little bit, make it last. And then once I got out of high school, then it started getting really bad. Like I had like this whole thing up here, and then just like, the whole shebang.
So,
And
bro,
then,
how are you feeling as it's like? Because again, I told you like when I went through it, to be real, I don't know if I knew what anxiety was, what it felt like to start losing confidence until I started going through that, right? So it was a jarring feeling for me. How did it feel for you when you first started noticing? Did you care as much, or were you kind of like it's not a big deal? What were you kind of going through?
yeah, I guess. I mean, as I got older, I started caring more because like I wanted to, experiment. I wanted to get like cool designs in my hair and stuff like that, like, kind of show my, originality. And so for me to not be able to do that the way I wanted to, I was just like, this kind of sucks. Yeah, I was losing, a little bit of confidence, but I had a job to do. I had to go do gym. Like that
Yeah,
wasn't gonna stop. So I
that's
kind
what.
of just had to keep that in the back rear mirror. And then, once I started hearing people actually talking about it, like, oh, like, no, Don, just, just shave it off. And I was hearing this like in 2015, and I didn't ended up shaving until probably 2018. That's when I finally just decided to cut it all off.
What do you think that 3 years between when you first started, people started telling you about it in 2018? What do you think took so long for you to finally make the jump?
Yeah, just I don't know, just wanted to try to hold on to the last bit that I had, you know. You don't want to, I guess, kind of take it to yourself that wow, it's actually happening. It's getting to that point. And then it got to that point. Once it got to that point, I was at the point where it was just I was basically just like just a shaved head. It was basically just kind of like a shaved head at that point, like a buzz shaved head. And then I was just like, well, I'm basically bald already, so I might as well just cut the rest, you know. So
What was your mom saying? I remember you because your mom obviously was a stickler about your hairline as a young kid. So as you're getting older and losing it, what was her like take on it?
she knew it was gonna happen. She knew it was gonna happen. She didn't think it would probably happen as this quickly, but she knew it was gonna happen because my dad was bald and he lost his hair at a youngish age, but he probably lost his around the same time as you were losing yours, like 20, 26, and 28, stuff like that. But mine was happening like super fast. And I was just trying to figure out why, but probably from gymnastics, I would say.
So, bro, what? So 20, you said 2018 is when you finally cut it off. How old
Yeah.
were you at that point?
Ooh. I want to say I was probably 20, 25 to 6.
Okay, you're
20,
25,
yeah, 25.
a bald head now. But what you mentioned earlier, and I wonder if this also like continued to play a role. You mentioned, yo, I was too busy doing gymnastics to like have time to care about my hairline or what was going on with my hair.
Yeah.
Tell me about the role you think gymnastics played in your ability to be confident regardless, right? Because again, like, you know, I wasn't doing gymnastics. I wasn't playing no sports at that point. I think I'm graduated from college. So like I played basketball in high school. Wasn't good. I went to Carolina undergrad. I wasn't good enough to play at Chapel Hill. So I kind of my sports life kind of wrapped up. Like I played intramurals for a little bit my freshman year of college, but after that, like sports was done for me, right?
Mhm.
Bro, what all I really had at that time was at least what I felt like all I had was my like style, my looks.
Mhm.
So when I lost that hair, it took a it took a major toll on what I thought I was like giving out to the world, right?
Mhm.
Now you had hair, but you were like, I'm a gymnast. Like I do this. This is and you almost mentioned the way you talk about it is like it was a real job. You're like, yo, this is a job for me now.
Yeah,
So
it is.
talk to me about how that like new activity or job or responsibility in your life, how that played a part in your identity, bro.
Oh yeah, because it played a big part because in gymnastics, obviously we're trying to do skills very clean, but there's so much variety of gymnastics that you can do in constructing routines. That's the thing that we have like 10 skills and we just combine them all together, and that's the whole routine. So there's so many creative ways you can do that and show off your own style. So for me, I kind of took that route. And then I guess as you can see, I have like an eyebrow ring. I kind of, wanted to put my own style, just in my personality out into the gymnastics world. So I started experimenting with that. And I got, gymnasts rarely used to have tattoos. We got like full sleeves now. So the game's kind of changed a lot. And we're able to, really show off our personalities through our style and our gymnastics. So so I feel like that's kind of how I, built that confidence again. Just going out and performing. People don't really care what you look like. They just care what you do on that floor. So that's kind of how I saw it.
Yo, this is a dope episode, bro, because I don't think we've had one where somebody was able to articulate so well how like where they put their identity, where their identity of confidence came from. Like you can clearly identify like, yo, from a young age, this thing was a true responsibility, a job for me, and you were able to be yourself in that space. That's also different because there's definitely sports where like, especially to put sports aside, like a lot of people, like for me, for instance, when I graduated undergrad and went to the corporate world, coming out of undergrad, I was wearing earrings, et cetera. You get to the corporate world, you can't walk into the office with an earring, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if you got tattoos, they better be covered up, right? Even for a while back in the day, you probably couldn't even have dreadlocks as a black man or black woman in the corporate space, right? And that's definitely changed quite a bit. But I remember vividly, bro, for a while, or over like the first 4 or 5 years of my corporate kind of career, I felt like I was losing who I really was. I had to go to work, wear this suit every day, and like try to be this person I wasn't. And I was losing my identity there. And at the same time, dog, I was losing my hair. So there was this like,
It's like double wham. Like, yeah.
I was getting crushed, bro. But it's beautiful to hear how you were able to actually utilize your profession to keep confidence and to really be like, yo, nobody cares about my hair. They care about what I do on this mat or on these parallel bars, etc. Man, that's a beautiful thing, bro. Man, talk to me now about like now that you finally came home, you're bald now. Did you get any, when you finally shaved it off, did you get any reactions, or people were like, oh, you finally did it, or people couldn't tell because you was already so low?
Yeah. I would say most people couldn't really tell, but some people did kind of. They was like, "Oh yeah, congratulations, thanks," all this stuff. But it wasn't like that big of a like wow shock that he shaved his head. They kind of knew it was getting to that point, so they kind of. I feel like most fans kind of expected that.
And bro, so talk to me about this. Part of my job, for good or worse, part of my job is to like talk that talk for bald men. So I spend the time saying like, yo, now we outside right now. Like I always laugh and say like, back in the 90s, all the women used to like the light skinned guys, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nah, like bald men are up now. It's our time. And I feel like I'm seeing more guys embrace it, have it, do it with confidence, etc. I want to ask you, when you finally kind of came home, started rocking the bald head, one, did you start to feel like you were seeing more people like, damn, I feel like it's more bald dudes around here, like embracing it? And two, I kind of joke around and I call it the bald renaissance. Cause again, I'm like, yo, damn, we just outside right now. What is your take on how it feels to be a bald man in America right now? Do you feel like it's kind of our time? Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I would say so, everyone's always going for the cool crazy hairstyle, but having a bald head is obviously, it's just a timeless style. Anybody if you have a good head, you can rock it. So I would say, we're doing great. We're getting out here for sure.
That's true. I'm glad you pointed that out, man, because people were telling me like, oh, Kenny, like you can say that because you have a nice shaped head, but everybody don't got a nice shaped head. So if you
Yeah,
don't got a shaped head, then of course I can't try to convince you to come home because it ain't for
yeah.
everyone. But for some of us that got the smooth heads, as it's really a classic style, like you said. Which brings me to our next question, bro. Said it's a timeless look. When you think back about all the guys who have set the tone for us bald men today, right? Like think about all the celebrities, athletes, whoever that have been bald in the past. And I'm like, okay, like he did it. It's cool. I can rock this look. Who would you say are the top three most iconic bald men of all time? Who would you say that, bro? Dead or alive? Most iconic.
Well, number one gotta be MJ, Michael Jordan for sure. That's what he's known for. I would say number two. I would go with The Rock.
Yeah.
He went through that. He went through that process. I used to watch WWE back in the day, so I know what his hair used to look like and stuff. So as soon as he cut off, I was like, oh, okay, all right, he's doing it. And then I'll say number three, probably one of my favorite actors. Let's go with Samuel L. Jackson.
For
Samuel
sure.
L. Jackson. He does a good job. He embraces that fully.
Super solid three. Super solid three right there, bro. I got to circle back to The Rock on this one because you mentioned you were a WWE fan, WWF fan, and who wasn't? Like I was a dog. I mean, I would watch every pay-per-view. I didn't realize my dad was bootlegging them until I was like 12, but that ain't got nothing to do with this. Ain't got nothing to do with this conversation. But bro,
What you gotta do?
everybody loved The Rock, and he was amazing. But when we talk about bald all-stars, folks are not naming Stone Cold Steve Austin enough.
Oh, I forgot about him. Jesus. Yeah, yeah. I don't even know how I forgot about him.
bro.
You can't forget about him, though. You can't. You can't.
He did not. Like Stone Cold, like The Rock had like the looks, the like. Well, The Rock had everything to be a superstar. Obviously, he was a superstar. But to me, like, come on, Stone Cold was beating up his boss, drinking beer on the job. Like, it was just so, man, that was a classic era of wrestling to be a part of, man. For sure.
That was a great time to be alive for sure. That was a great hour. That was a great era.
Brody. All right. I got two more questions for you. Two more questions. One, we created this podcast, like I said to you earlier, not only for you to share your story, Brody, but also for hopefully some guys are watching this that are dealing with that hair loss, maybe dealing with anxiety or whatever emotional trauma that may come from hair loss. If they're watching this right now and they hear your story, bro, what's the best advice you could give them if they're currently still dealing with hair loss?
I would say the best advice is honestly, don't really think about the appearances too much. Obviously that's in society, sadly, that's kind of what everything is based off of. But if you're just a genuine person and you have a desire to do something that you want to do and that nothing is going to stop you, and then you embrace the way you are, people, that's going to attract people are attracted to of like who you are, not what you look like. So just keep being the positive person, try to be as helpful as you can, try to inspire as many people as you can. And you'll get tremendous love, and you'll be accepted by whoever. It doesn't matter what you look like.
Preach on that authenticity, man. You gotta love it. You really gotta love it. All right, one additional question that you made me think of right now, bro. We got you on the podcast. Obviously, you've had a great career, and you have even more to come. When you think about what has made you so successful in your sport today, in your profession, and even just as a young man in general, bro, what do you think are the three strongest character traits that you possess or that you've learned over time that's allowed you to kind of get to the place that you got today?
I would say number one, probably be disciplined. You have to be very disciplined to do this sport because you when I was younger, I wasn't a regular teenager. I missed almost every type of regular activity that a normal teenager does because I was in the gym and I was traveling, competing. And it took a lot for me to just stay grounded and focus on what I needed to do to try to push that envelope and get to the next level. So discipline for me is number one. Another thing is I would say determination. Um, there's been a couple times where I fell short, but that just lit a fire under my ass, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna come back and I'm just gonna train my butt off, and we'll see what we can do with this next go around. So I just always try to get better each and every year on something that maybe I wasn't that strong at before. So it's all about trying to get better each and every day, like just try to do that 1% each and every day. And then the final characteristic I would say, ooh, this tough one. Uh, hmm. Yeah, that's tough. I almost forgot it. I had it at the top of my head. um,
All right, we'll let you wrap with two.
I
Right, wrap with
would
two.
say, just uniqueness. For me, I try to be unique as possible. I don't want to be compared to anybody else in my field or in my sport. Like what I do, how I act, how I do my gymnastics. So you want to try to, just embrace who you are and, embrace your uniqueness and just, share with the world. Everybody has something that's very unique about them. So why not share it?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. Bro, final question of the podcast. My favorite question on every episode, bro. As I mentioned to you earlier, we call the brand Come Home for two different reasons. When I was losing my hair, the homies was like, bro, come home, stop playing. Like really pushing me, like shave that. But we also spell the brand in French because in French, come home means like a man or as a man. And our whole goal is to help men embrace their natural evolution, something you kind of just talked about there. But when we think about manhood, especially how the conception of manhood has changed so much over time, I'm interested in your thoughts on it, right? Because we're kind of in the same age range here. When I grew up, what I would see on TV, all the media that I would consume, whether it was video games, music videos, movies, etc., it's always showed a man that's like dominant, show no feelings, have as many women as possible. All these things that I grew up trying to emulate for the most part, right? Then I get to a certain age and I realize, like, wait, most of this doesn't feel right. I think most of this is wrong, actually, right? And now I'm having to unlearn patterns and behaviors that I came up on and try to, like, you kind of recenter myself about what I personally believe it means to be a man, right? So I want to hear your thoughts on that, bro. Like, now we're in 2023. What do you think? What do you think it means to be a man today?
For me in this day and age, to be a man is tough because, as you said, like back in the day, the man is supposed to be that alpha, that dominant guy. And it kind of, it kind of transcends even to now. You still want to, being a man, you still have that trait of, you want to be dominant. So I don't think that really will ever kind of go away, but you know there's a certain time and place to do that. That's what I think is the situation. So like if you have a certain field that you're good at, yeah,
Dominant.
you're gonna be the alpha. But like if you're not, you gotta take that seat back and let someone else that actually knows what they're doing go out there and try to teach people, and you'll be able to learn from that. Another thing, you know say men have to be mentally strong. I still think that's a big thing because as a man, we don't have that comfort of being like, oh, like everything's gonna be okay and stuff like that. Like, no, like
Get it
no one's
done.
gonna no one's gonna like really help you. You have to learn how to take care of yourself. And I feel like as a man, that's just a great skill to have because at some point you're going to be by yourself. You have to learn how to fend for yourself, take care of yourself, deal with issues. But there's but you can always go ask for help. That's the thing. Usually people have too much pride and they don't want to go out of their way. But someone that's smart, they're going to go out there and seek out answers, to try to solve that problem. So as long as try to be as mentally strong as possible. Obviously, that's very hard. There's good practices for that, to do that. Uh, but yeah, I would say those are my topics on that one.
I love it. I love it, man. You mentioned pride. I think they always say pride comes before the fall. So, it's always very important to, especially in today's time, like understand, be able to ask for help, be able to admit when you don't know something.
Yep.
Your point, it still takes, like I think when we live in a world that, depending on who you ask, is even, it's crazier than ever.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of things going on. So you do have to be able to fend for yourself as a man. If you have a family, or you got to be able to fend for them. So there's so many responsibilities that lie on us as a man.
Mhm.
Uh, you got to be able to kind of, like, I guess, shoulder those. And that's an important thing, man. So amazing answer. Amazing answer. We'll get to the very end of the podcast, bro. Thank you so much for joining us. And before I let you go, though, if there's somebody watching this, they loved your story, they want to learn more about your gymnastics, all the success you've had, and want to just follow your story a bit, how can they find you on social media, family?
They can find me on Instagram, at Donnell_Whittenberg. You can also find me on YouTube as well. Probably just type in my name. I think it's Donnell Whittenberg Official. I have TikTok too. So pretty much you can just type my name in. I'll probably pop up. You can find it on almost any social media. So, yeah, check me out. I have more to offer. I actually have a competition, April 23rd or 27th. I'm gonna go to Egypt, going to Cairo to compete there at a World Cup event. So
Oh,
should be
great.
fun.
Will it be
Yeah.
live streamed, or do they normally live stream that somewhere?
That's a good question. Normally at these type of World Cups they don't, but I can see if they have one. And I'm gonna record all my stuff anyway, so everybody will be able to see me compete. So it'll be a good time.
No doubt, no doubt. We all heard it here first, man. Bro, thank you so much again for joining us. It's been an amazing episode, dog. You know what? I'm gonna hit you up after we get off because I owe you some free product for joining the podcast for
Oh,
us.
appreciate it.
As I say at the end of every single episode, y'all stay bald, y'all stay bold, and we'll see y'all soon. Yes, sir, my dog. Catch
All
y'all.
right, deuces.